Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here to discuss A/B testing and splitting the difference with Matomo. My name is Jess. I live here in South Florida. You probably have heard about the two big hurricanes that just recently hit. That's where I live. Thankfully, there were no damage. Today, I work at Portland Labs, the team behind Concrete CMS, an open source solution that powers organizations to build secure, flexible websites, everything from intranets, HR portals, to your front-facing sites. Concrete has been trusted by major institutions like BASF and the US Army to deliver robust online environments. Through this work, we've gained a lot of deep insights into analytics, privacy, security, and compliance, all topics that I'm passionate about. But I work in our marketing team here at Portland Labs. And when I'm not being totally nerdy, you can find me on the pickleball courts or a softball diamond. So, welcome everyone. Today we're going to dive into the world of A/B testing to uncover how small changes can make massive impacts on your website. We'll go through some strategies, tools, and quite a few real life examples that can help you make data-driven decisions for website optimization. So whether you're testing headlines, buttons, or page layouts, A/B testing gives you nice real feedback from real users. So we'll start with the basics, covering A/B testing and why it's essential. We'll learn how to structure a solid testing process, everything from documentation to communication, collecting data, goal setting. We'll talk about some best practices, some practices about creating a hypothesis, running tests effectively. Data interpretation, I'll show you how to read your results, assess statistical significance. We'll talk about heat maps, and optimization and iteration. So by the end of this session, you should know how to run and design an A/B test, improve user engagement, and understand what variables can make changes to your A/B testing. So first, let's discuss exactly what A/B testing is. It's all about comparing two or more versions of something to see which one performs the best. Think of it as an easy way to ask your audience, which one do you like better without actually asking? So simply put, A/B testing lets you test two versions of a web element, like a button, a headline, see which one gets more engagement. Version A could be your original, while version B has a slight change of a button. And when you set up two versions of an element and show each group of users and then track the version that gets the desired results, such as clicks or conversions. It's a bit like mini focus groups, only you're working with live data. So imagine testing the buy now button. You try it in a blue version and then also try it in a green version. After a few days, you check the results, and one color drives more clicks and gets more demos. Or let's say you're testing a headline. Maybe it's start saving today, get exclusive deals. A/B testing shows you how to grab attention and get more engagement. So why should you use A/B testing on your site? It allows you to identify what users respond to best, helping you create a more engaging website. Whether it's a new layout, a headline, or an image, small changes can make massive differences in keeping people on the page longer. Higher conversion rates, the ultimate goal for many websites, whether it means more purchases, more signups, or leads. A/B testing shows you which variations drive more action and can make a real impact on revenue. So instead of relying on designer intuition, A/B testing provides hard data to back up every single change that you make. This means you're not just guessing at what users want, you're very confident in each update, and as an improvement is based on real world behavior. So let's talk about setting up for success. One of the most important processes or areas that we can talk about is the importance of communication and documentation of of analytics or of your A/B process. So clear documentation acts as a testing roadmap. It covers everything from planning, analyzing results, and even team members who can join later. Once, if you have it documented, they can easily understand what was tested and why. So the image here on the right hand side shows how I document everything for the U.S. Army. I write an intro page that talks a little bit about what A/B testing is. I make a roadmap page to show where we may be going next. And then, of course, I document all of the tests and where they're at. So whether it's setting goals, defining test variations, or reviewing the results, communication ensures the whole team is aligned, and this makes a better testing process and smoother, much more effective. So where I document, this is an extranet that I document right on the US Army. So I make web pages for every piece here. So successful A/B testing isn't just about running an experiment. It's very much a step-by-step process. And let's look at the main stage from planning to results. So generally, I start by analyzing a website's current performance. Using tools like Matomo, it makes it really easy to identify high traffic areas that maybe have low engagement or a high drop-off. And this is where your test will make the most impact. And then you're going to define your goals. What does success look like for each test? Maybe it's increasing signups, maybe it's in boosting time on the page or lowering bounce rate, improving click-throughs. Setting clear goals gives you a target to measure against. And then we have to go back to science class and create our hypothesis. So this forces you to think about what change might improve performance. For example, if users aren't signing up, you could test a clear call to action button, prioritize your hypothesis by impact and feasibility, and focus on changes that are most likely to make the biggest difference. So setting up for success. We want to know exactly how users interact with your site. So generally, I'll take a look at heat maps before I start with A/B testing, because they're valuable tools for visualizing user behavior, so you can make very targeted improvements. Heat maps show you where users spend the most time. They're highlighting hotspots for interaction. Scroll maps, they help you focus your tests on elements that get the most attention, such as buttons or content areas. Click maps track everywhere where users are tracking. So if you see a lot of clicks on non-clickable elements, for example, might signal some user confusion. Testing these adjustments to those areas can significantly improve user experience. Wondering what to test? So whether they come from other areas that you can test, whether it comes from emails, user complaints, customer support, phone calls, product reviews and ratings, support ticket submissions, patterns can quickly emerge on what users are unhappy about that can inform where you should start testing. And it's important to have a system in which you can monitor and gather issues with your product or your site. And often these might even be reported as bugs. These either point to a simple engineering solutions, or built-in issues with fixing overall functionality. As you track your products metrics on a daily basis, you'll find areas that decrease in performance at one time or another. It happens to all of us within certain funnels, like decreasing the number of conversions, cart abandonment. When this happens, it's time to test and find out why. So with all of these insights, feedback, complaints, you're not just guessing what to test. You're also informing and letting user behavior guide your testing decisions. And I always recommend focusing tests on areas that matter the most. So sometimes user interest doesn't align with our assumptions. So in this example that I was running on our homepage on concretecms.com, this click map revealed that visitors were frequently clicking on the brand logos right above the trusted by the best section, expecting them to be interactive. So these logos originally, they weren't clickable, and it was leading to to missed engagement opportunities. So by identifying these trends, running a test, we made each logo clickable, linking users directly to relevant brand information. And this small change was guided by user behavior insights from ClickMac all the way through improved user experience. And this allowed us to drive engagement in an unexpected area that I wasn't even looking for. So designing and crafting effective tests. Okay, so this is my favorite part, right? When you're designing A/B tests, the variations that you create are really key to discovering what truly resonates with your users. It's about how to craft your variations to drive results. So I always recommend start by choosing elements that can directly affect user engagement for conversions. Visual elements like call to action buttons, layouts, headlines are quick and easy to test and can lead to noticeable changes. And then there's also functional elements like sign up processes, navigational structures that can be a lot more complex to test, but provide nice, valuable insights as well. So when testing multiple elements simultaneously, I recommend starting with three variations, so multivariant testing. So you'll have the original. So this is your control, the baseline that sets the current users. You'll have a decent change, right? Making a meaningful yet conservative change like adjusting a color and a headline or a layout. And then the third version, I call the batshit crazy version. This third option is bold. It's an unexpected shift. It's a major change that pushes everything to the limits with your design and assumptions. The last variation can really reveal some surprising insights. Sometimes the wildest idea, the one that seems least likely to perform, performs the best and pushes the limits, allowing you to explore a wide range of possibilities. And if it doesn't perform great, you still have valuable data. And it might not lead to game-changing improvements, but the data is still there. Did you know that simply having a duck picture facing to the left instead of the right can increase conversions by 40%? Sounds ridiculous, but it's backed by research, and HubSpot demonstrated this surprising effect many years ago, showing just how powerful small details can be. So let's dive in. We'll talk about what to test, go through some more real world examples. Let's talk about an high impact A/B test. This is from the Obama campaign when we had an election back in 2008. So this was quite a long time ago, but it was very impactful. By testing the different buttons and text information, they increased signups by like 40%, resulting in millions more signups, millions more volunteers, and $60 million in donations. So this example shows how real user data can defy assumptions. And, and the campaign staff originally assumed that videos belonged here. The testing revealed that the images drove way higher engagement. And without this data, they would have missed a huge opportunity. And Obama's team didn't just stop with one test. Their great success with the first one inspired them to continue experimenting across their website, constantly improving results and learning more about their audience. Let's talk about HubSpot a little bit more. So most websites have some type of homepage hero image that inspires users to click, engage, and then spend more time on sites. So this test, A/B test, shows an example how hero images can change the impact of user behavior conversions. So A/B, or HubSpot did some A/B testing in effort to increase their signups on a landing page. The version that ended up winning was the version with happy, smiling people. And that made the difference and increased conversions by crazy 6% compared to the rather boring version. All right, so let's talk about some best practices. A test success really depends on how it's run. Testing in a controlled environment allows you to ensure accuracy without affecting your live site. So I always recommend running tests on a staging site first. This keeps your live site unaffected by potential bugs, display issues while you work out any kinks. And to get valid results on split traffic evenly across your variations, Matomo offers tools to ensure the randomness and that each version gets the same amount of traffic. So when running a test, make sure your marketing team isn't adjusting the live pages. That goes along with the communication documentation that we kind of discussed before. Every test needs to be isolated to ensure accurate measurement without influencing live user experience. So we implemented Matomo on the U.S. Army. We're about to roll out Matomo to about 100 users, and that will be running about 100 websites with Matomo. But let's take a look here at this A/B testing from the Army, where we tested navigation menu items to improve user engagement. Testing navigation is a little bit more advanced, but the hypothesis was simple: replacing the term home life with a more intuitive term that Army soldiers understood will improve user engagement. So we prioritize this test based on user feedback and engagement metrics from the click-through rate of that menu item. So we tested home life against 4 different terms like Army services, family and community, community services. And by comparing click-through rates, bounce rates, we could see which term really resonated best with users. The results ended up showing Army services had the highest click-through rate, confirming that the more descriptive term improved navigation engagement. So let's take a look at the results. Now that your test is run, here's how I interpreted these results. And you can see which changes made the impact. So Matomo provides several important metrics to help guide these results. And paying attention to the click-through rate, the average clicks, and the conversion rate, did the users make the desired action? So checking these differences between your variations are statistically significant. Statistical significance confirms that your results are not due to random chance, giving you one variation that really outperformed the other. So you can see here, Army services had a slightly lower engagement rate or click-through rate than home life. But when I segmented that down to new users, Army services outshined all of the other variations by 40%, meaning our users were used to the old system. So there was a slight difference, but as you dig more, you find that new users actually engage with something more. So once you have your insights, it's essential to communicate the findings clearly to your stakeholders. And here's how to make your reports, actionable and easy to understand. I post it right up on a website. But the outline, the test objectives, and the summary is in a really simple format. So what worked, what didn't, and what will you test next? And I update this page on a weekly basis, and this helps stakeholders quickly understand the impact of the test. So charts, heat maps, and click maps make complex data more digestible, and all visuals will add credibility, making your case stronger as well. And when communicating with your stakeholders, it's important to avoid jargon and focus on how the test aligns with their business goals. Clear communication helps secure buy-in for future testing. A/B testing or multivariate testing isn't a one and done process. It's all about iteration, using a test to learn, improve, and test again. So let's talk about continuous improvement and how it transforms websites. So I think about each A/B test as a journey. Each test gives you insights that can guide the next one, allowing you to continuously refine your site for better performance. Success doesn't always come after the first test, and that's fine. Each round gives you new data to work with. Use data from each test to inform the next. For instance, if a headline changed, improved engagement, but didn't improve conversions, the next test might focus on optimizing a call to action instead. You can build a testing roadmap and identify what areas to test next on insights versus the previous rounds to keep this momentum going, and it ensures you're always working towards an optimized website. So to illustrate the power of continuous improvement, let's take a look at the Army site again, where small tweaks led to significant gains. So our hypothesis was that users would respond better to a more descriptive term in the navigation menu. And we also tested replacing community services with Army services to see if that would improve engagement. Results showed that community services underperformed greatly, while Army services resonated more strongly, leading us to higher click through rates. So, this small change, guided by data, led to an increase in engagement. It also allowed us to change out the community and test something else. So, testing small elements based on user feedback, they were able to create more intuitive navigation. Let's take a look here at the World Wildlife Fund. They were aiming at increasing newsletter registrations and encouraging more people to stay informed about conservation efforts. WWF believed that redesigning the registration page and adding a compelling photo would make the page more visually appealing and leading to a lot more signups. So version A, the original layout was very text heavy and lacked any visual appeal. The redesigned layout was a little bit more streamlined, was nature focused, and had some photo engagements to work with visitors emotionally. The redesigned page, version B, saw an 83% increase in registrations, confirming that a cleaner layout, impactful imagery can really boost user engagement. So let's talk about some of the pitfalls. Running effective A/B tests requires a lot of thinking. So here's how to steer clear of some common mistakes that can undermine your results. So the sample size and duration are really critical. Running a test for too short of a period with too few users can really skew results. So aim for enough data to ensure that your results are statistically significant. Number two, testing too many elements at once can make it hard to identify what's actually driving change. Use A/B tests to test a single element and reserve multivariant tests for more complex scenarios. Results for one audience, like segment, such as desktop users, new users, may not apply to other areas of the test, such as mobile or returning users. So by segmenting, you can ensure that the changes benefit all users, or you may implement your changes a little bit different. So let's talk about Airbnb. They use controlled experiments and they run very advanced testing to enhance user experience and make data driven decisions. These experiments allow Airbnb to isolate the impact of significant product changes from external factors such as the day of the week, right? Time of day, weather factors significantly on user behavior and working to reserve A or B and B. So for example, after testing a new filter, they discovered it led to less user engagement than the original, so they chose not to launch it. However, within their testing, their complex testing, multi-step booking process presents a bunch of unique challenges. So users often switch devices mid process. Bookings can depend on a lot of external factors like host availability, the weather, and there are all sorts of additional variables that you need to look at. So Airbnb's custom framework addresses a lot of these complexities, accounting for delays in booking actions and multi-device usage, other nuances that make their marketplace pretty unique. One test that Airbnb explored was a new way to display pricing options. Despite the initial belief that the feature would improve usability, users ended up engaging less with the new filter than the old one, prompting Airbnb to abandon that change. So this examples highlights the rigorous testing in making informed product decisions. Don't trust early wins. It's tempting to stop when you see those quick results. But early success can be very misleading. For example, a price change filter might look promising in the first few days, but end up with a neutral impact. The lesson? Uh, Give tests the time that they need to tell the full story. Dig into the results. Initial results can hide the full picture. When Airbnb did a search page redesign, it seemed to fall flat. But after looking closer by browser type, they were able to identify that Internet Explorer was the problem. So they fixed those issues, redid the testing, and it ended up with a decent engagement boost, proving that context really matters in your testing. So let's talk about working with teams and best practices across teams. So to make A/B testing a standard practice, it's essential to create a testing culture across your teams. So here's how we set up organizations for success. Like I said, I established clear testing guidelines. I document them, making it easy for different teams to replicate successful tests. By documenting all of your tests, teams can share insights and avoid duplicating efforts, right? Digging through a bunch of PDF files versus going to a website makes it very easy. So having a test repository helps everyone stay informed and build collective knowledge. A/B testing isn't just for one team. You need to encourage cross-department collaboration. So talking to your marketing team, talking to your product team to get information on user requests, design teams, making testing a very collaborative effort within your organization. Shared goals ensure all teams are aligned and what's working towards optimized experiences. So A/B testing isn't just a tool, it's a mindset, right? So embrace experimentation, encourage curiosity, and use data to guide every single decision by adopting a culture of testing. If you're testing your organization for continuous testing and improvement, I always start with very small, simple tests that can deliver quick wins. And then you can expand your efforts, getting more complex. Remember, even the small changes can really drive significant results. Successful A/B testing is a continuous process. So, regular reviewing, refining, and iteration to build on each insight and help keep improving your site's performance. And then, of course, encouraging every team to share their findings. By building a shared knowledge base, you really empower everyone to help make these data driven decisions, and it benefits the entire organization. So, if you're ready to get started, I recommend picking one element, set up your tests first, and begin to let your users know what works best. So, thank you for having me. If there are any questions, I will be happy to answer. Alrighty, I don't see any questions. I'll be back here shortly. I'm going to turn off my screen and the sound here, and I'll be back to talk about some compliance stuff. Thank you very much.